President Trump appears to be growing impatient as the battle over his Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, a lifelong Catholic, seems far from over. Joining me now for more analysis is Matthew Continetti, editor of the Washington Free Beacon. Matthew, thanks and welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Leader Mitch McConnell vowed today that Kavanaugh will be confirmed. He goes on to say, quote, "We're going to plow right through it and do our job." But could that statement give the impression that Dr. Ford's testimony won't be important one way or the other?
It could, to some. I think what Senator McConnell was doing was rallying the troops, trying to give a sense of confidence to people who really do believe that Judge Kavanaugh deserves a place on the Supreme Court. And let's remember, many Democrats have already prejudged these hearings. You have many Democrats saying that they believe Dr. Ford, even before she has testified before the Senate. So I think there's a lot of prejudgment going on both sides.
Many Americans who are pro-life believe Judge Kavanaugh could help overturn Roe v. Wade. His views on abortion obviously came up, as we heard, during the confirmation hearing. Do you think that's what's behind the Democrats' opposition really to him at its core?
Absolutely. There's no question since the Bork nomination in the late 1980s that the Supreme Court has become a contested site over social issues, the life issue in particular. And that is why the debates over Republican nominees to the Supreme Court are so polarizing. And just remember, just last year with Judge Gorsuch, he got through barely, right? And most likely, Kavanaugh will get through with an even thinner margin this time if he does make confirmation. So it is a life issue that is driving this debate, and the liberal Democrats understand that they have been using the court for generations now to push through a liberal social agenda that they can't get through in the elected bodies of the presidency and the Congress.
The Republican majority in the Senate is a pretty narrow one, and several Republicans are still undecided, or so far at least. Politically, what do the Republicans need to do to get this process back on track and to confirm Kavanaugh?
I think Chuck Grassley and the majority on the Judiciary Committee have done a good job of trying to be accommodating to Dr. Ford. They've said throughout this entire process, we do want to hear you. We want to give you the opportunity to speak. Now, what's happened is Dr. Ford and her lawyers have come back with escalating demands. And right now, as we speak, there's a negotiation taking place. Eventually, we will reach a point of decision, I believe, where Chuck Grassley, Mitch McConnell, in consultation with both the committee members as well as some of those moderate members of the Republican caucus, like Senator Collins of Maine, like Bob Corker of Tennessee, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, they're going to have to reach a decision here to go for a final vote.
What's your sense about how all of this is resonating with voters, especially ahead of the midterms?
Well, I think if there's one story that comes out of the last 2 years, Wyatt, it's polarization. And now what we've seen is the two camps, Republican and Democrat, dividing on cultural matters, whether it's the NFL, whether it's the Emmys, political matters, like judgeships or tax policy. But now, even more disturbing to me in these last weeks, it has been we're dividing over the question of sexual assault. It's become a political thing. It's become a tactic, and we're prejudging it, as we discussed, really based on our partisan affiliations. This just seems to be the tenor of the times in which we live.
Yeah, so many important issues that we'll continue to cover. Matthew Continetti, editor of the Washington Free Beacon, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you.